My name is Harold and welcome to the Sanctum. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you an Egyptian magical practice. So Egyptian magic is an old tradition that was practiced in ancient Egypt. That was a form of spirituality that was used for the evolution of the human soul, the liberation of the human soul, the gathering of divine wisdom and knowledge for the betterment of humankind. And as we dive deeper now in this channel into the esoteric are those sciences that were not taught to the public and that were guarded and circulated in small communities that brought a lot of freedom, power, and happiness, enlightenment to those who use them. So we shall be diving deeper into these sorts of practices on this channel. The whole point of this practice is to help us reconnect with the sun. Within ourselves as human beings, we have a circadian rhythm, which determines our sleep cycle. If we look at human beings, we are diurnal creatures. In other words, we wake up during sunrise, and towards the night as the sun begins to set, we go to sleep. Although in our modern society right now, we may choose to break that cycle, and we may choose to stay up late, or we may have a night shift depending on what work we do for a living, or we may be on a flight to a country that's on the other side of the world. Back in the day when somebody wants to travel from one place to another, especially let's say somebody was traveling from England all the way to Australia, it would take months, and the body will have time to adjust and be in alignment with the sun and the changes as the person moves from one time zone to another. But now we can be on the other side of the world in 24 hours. So naturally, this circadian rhythm and our connection to the sun is misaligned for 99% of the people in the world. This is why a lot of people have trouble with sleep and going to sleep, falling asleep and remaining asleep and having restful sleep in general, because we've lost connection with this element of ourselves that rules our day in a particular way. The sun is the source of energy in the universe. So this practice that I'm going to share with you today will help you reconnect with the sun over time. I've been doing this practice for a total of 4 years. In reality, 2 years. I did it 8 years ago for 2 years straight, and it brought me immense benefits. And then I stopped doing it because of all the benefits, and I thought I didn't need to do it. And now I've restarted doing it for the past 2.5 years because I felt it was important to reconnect with the practice. And once again, I'm making this video in realization of how amazing some of the results are if you actually stick to doing it every single day. It can provide you with improved sleep. It can connect you with the sun. So it can provide you with increased energy. When you fall, I've noticed that I fall asleep very easily and wake up, you feel energized. Sometimes you even wake up in alignment with the sun. When the sun is rising, you wake up and you feel so energized, you can even choose whether you want to get up or whether you want to sleep an extra few hours. And that choice is really important. You feel generally happier, you feel healthier because you're connected to the sun. If you're in a closed room which has no windows and you don't know what time of day it is, somehow internally you know exactly where the sun is because you are connected to the sun. The sun is within you. So this is all some of the side effects of this practice. But one of the most crucial and important results that this practice, if you do it every day, will bring to you is a true knowing of the immortality of the human soul. After all, the word soul, S-O-U-L, comes from the word sol, S-O-L, which is sun, solar. So naturally, as the sun rises and the sun sets, and it now goes under the earth, and then it's reborn, and it dies every day. This cyclical nature is happening in all of existence. It's also happening within us. Our soul is that solar essence that when our physical body dies, can move on and can be reborn in this way. So when you connect to this aspect of the sun, this allows us to connect to the immortal nature of ourselves. And once you truly have that experience, death is no longer a hindrance. It's no longer something that you fear. And this brings about an immense sense of freedom that can propel somebody to do whatever it is that they're here to do in the world. So this particular practice needs to be done every day. Now, this practice contains Egyptian deities. So you will be invoking Egyptian deities. And if you don't like Egyptian deities, I know a lot of you do that follow this channel, but if for whatever reason you don't, this is an eclectic channel and we do talk about traditions and practices and spiritualities from all over the world and different practices and yogas. This is a particular yoga, you could even call it, although that's a Sanskrit word, that is associated with Egyptian deities and Egyptian magic. So if you don't like the Egyptian deities, there's a video I made in the past, an old video, that essentially talks about the same kind of practice, although it's a lot weaker without the Egyptian deities and doing it in this particular manner that I'm going to describe. You can still do it if you want to do it without the Egyptian deities, and I will leave a link up here that can lead you to that video if you wish to look at that instead of this. So to do this particular practice, you need to first become aware of the 4 quarters of the day. So that is sunrise, noon, sunset, and midnight. So these are the 4 state changes that the sun undergoes throughout the day. When the sun rises, it's in a particular state. When the sun is up high at noon, when it's the hottest, it's at a certain state. When the sun is now descending down and it's sunset, the sun is at a certain state. And when it's now under the earth, you can't see it. Wherever you might be, you can't see it. So it's almost like a dark sun. It's like under the earth, so everything is dark. So these are the 4 states that the sun undergoes throughout the day. In a macrocosmic scale, or in a much bigger scale, the same thing happens in the 4 seasons as well: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. When there's an increase in light and there's a decrease in light. To do this, we'll be using 4 deities in the Egyptian pantheon that's associated with the 4 states of the sun. The 4 deities are Ra, which is the sun, in its state as it rises from the horizon. Hathor or Hathor, which is the sun in its highest form at noon, where it's at the peak of heat. And then Tum, when it's setting, and then Kefra, when it's under the earth. Now, there are certain reasons why we're using these 4 deities. First of all, they connect with the sun, but also each state that the sun is in correspond with the nature of the energetic form that these deities represent. And I'll talk about that more if you want to go deeper into the symbolism and have look into a guided version of this, and to deepen this practice even more, I will be releasing a Patreon series on this practice so that you can take it deeper, and you can find that on my Patreon if you wish. So to do this practice, when you wake up, or in reality at the point of sunrise, you can find this by simply doing a Google search what time the sun will rise wherever you might be in the world. You don't have to do it at sunrise because our daily life may cause us to sometimes wake up a little bit after sunrise, and that's okay. So at the time that you wake up or at sunrise, you want to face east because that's where the sun usually rises. You want to face east and you want to form this particular posture, which is you want to be standing with your feet together and your arms outstretched in the form of a cross. This is called the sign of Osiris slain. You want to face the east and you want to imagine that you are Ra in the form that it's on the screen right now. That you are Ra. You've got the hawk's head and the sun is rising, and then out loud or in your head, you want to say this particular thing. Hail unto thee who art Ra in thy rising, even unto thee who art Ra in thy strength, who travels over the heavens at thy bark, at the uprising of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendor at the prow, Rahur abideth at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of night. And then you want to finish that by taking your right finger, your right index finger, and placing it on your lips, as if you're trying to tell somebody to be quiet. This is called the sign of silence. If you go to the Egyptian section of the British Museum, you may see certain Egyptian statues doing this gesture. This is also called the sign of Harpocrates. But I will dive deeper into the symbolism on my Patreon series. Then go about your day as normal. During noon or around the time of noon, you want to face the south. And do this gesture with your feet together while standing. Bring your hands outwards like this to form a triangle towards the point of your third eye. Close your eyes and imagine that you're holding the deity form that you are imagining that you are, Hathor or Hathor. And you want to say, Hail unto thee, who art Hathor in thy triumphing, even unto thee who art Hathor in thy beauty, who travels over the heavens at the bark at the mid-course of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendor at the prow, Rahur abideth at the helm. Hail on thee from the abodes of the morning. And then give the sign of silence. Now, when the sun is about to set, or when the sun is setting, if you can see the sunset, even better, or around that time, you want to face the west. You want to bring your hands out like this, almost like you're holding the sky up. Facing west, you want to say, Hail unto thee who art Tum in thy setting, even unto thee who art Tum in thy joy, who travellest over the heavens at thy bark at the downgoing of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendor at the prow, Rahur abideth at the helm. Hail on thee from the abodes of the day. And then give the sign of silence. Once that's done, you now want to go about your day. And at midnight, or when you're going to fall asleep, it doesn't matter, roughly, when it's nighttime and you're going to go to sleep, you want to face the north, and you want to hold this particular gesture. You want to take the same triangle, but you want to invert it to a downward pointing triangle. Place it near your navel and solar plexus, facing the north, and say, Hail unto thee who art Kefra in thy hiding, even unto thee who art Kefra in thy silence, who travels over the heavens at thy bark at the midnight out of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendor at the prow, Rahur abideth at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of the evening. And now you want to repeat this every day, so that you align yourself with the movement of the sun, which is essentially the circadian rhythm that takes place during the day. So as you begin to align yourself with the movements of the sun, your body starts to shift in alignment with it. So therefore, when you wake up in the morning, you feel refreshed. It's almost like you're the sun being born. And when you go to sleep at night, it's very easy for you to fall asleep because you're in alignment with the sun. When you travel from one place to another, let's say you're traveling from the United States all the way to India, it's a very long flight, and it's almost like the sun is somewhere else completely. But now you barely feel any jet lag because you've moved from here to here, but inside you're connected to the sun, so the sun is always with you regardless of where you go. But also, because you're connected to the sun is also that element that shines light. You begin to shine your light wherever you go, so you start to get more and more illuminated inside within yourself. You feel happier, you feel calmer, you feel more confident, you feel more relaxed about everything. And most importantly, you have this realization, and an experience will happen, I won't tell you what it is, of the realization of the immortality of the soul, which is so important because it can drive you forward towards what you need to do here in the physical plane, in earthly existence. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's of value, and thank you very much, and I will see you soon. Peace.